All right, hello everyone. This is Hunter Doyle from The Take. I'm here with Nate Rossi today, and we're interviewing Cole Roederer from the Cubs, outfielder, fifth-ranked prospect in their minor leagues, 77th overall pick in 2018. So this is a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for your time and for this opportunity.
My pleasure, man. You're taking me out of boredom. I'm all good with it.
Yeah. So going off of that, just what we were talking about before the interview. Tell us how you're doing, man, and how quarantine's been going.
It was going pretty good. California was a little rough. Quarantine was pretty tough out there. And then came out to Arizona. Been a lot better. Was able to train with some teammates and some friends. And ended up moving into a new house, a big milestone. And I was excited. I got 2 extra rooms. And I, had my roommates ready about to move in. And then they get called up to taxi squads. So I'm sitting in a house by myself with enough snacks and food 100% to last me a year because I have junk food everywhere. But I'm running out of movies. I'm running out of TV shows. And I'm going to be honest, I've checked my YouTube about every hour, and there's never anything new. So I'm kind of upset. I'm a little bored, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself and especially your journey to the major leagues, how you got into baseball.
I got into baseball at a very young age. My whole family is very, very athletic. So growing up in that aspect, I was playing multiple sports at one time. The first person that ever introduced me to baseball was my grandmother, actually. I used to spend a lot of time with her growing up, and she introduced me in the game of baseball. She would throw baseballs back and forth, and as a grandmother, when I was 4 or 5 years old, she could still do it. But, as I aged, my dad and my other siblings and all that stuff had to take over for sure. But it was one of those things where it was just a passion from the jump. And it's something that, I eat, sleep, breathe, and like everything I think about is baseball related. So now it's ingrained in my DNA, and I'm stuck with it forever.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your high school career. And especially, when did you realize that playing professional baseball is a possibility? Obviously, that's a difficult thing to try to get to. So, when did you start to realize, hey, maybe I can make it to the majors?
It was kind of interesting for me. I committed to my dream college very early in my career. I was 15 when I committed to UCLA. It was my dream school. It had a very, very big and special meaning for me to go to that school. I didn't really think that I had a shot at going professional at that age. I was 15. I was really worried about, what breakfast is coming on or what I was going to watch or play video games for that day, playing GTA when it first came out, I didn't really think about the opportunity of, making this a career as a 15-year-old. That thought didn't really occur to me until I was 17 years old. And that's kind of when I had, my power kind of came randomly, and I kind of, started to begin to have a breakout year, if you could say. I was not a very big name per se. I did not have that, that reputation behind me to guide me and help me, get the open doors. But I definitely had the work ethic, and I would say definitely the end of my junior year was when I was like, wow, this could be real. Like I could do this, you know what I mean? Like if I really worked hard and everything like played perfectly, I could have a shot. And then my senior year for sure, that's when I knew. I was like, okay. I was like, it's time to strap it on. It's time to grow up a little bit, and it's time to get it done. And then senior year happened, and I really thought I had a shot. I was really confident, and then I had a very unfortunate injury that ended my season very, very early. So I basically thought, because I had every team looking at me, and then as soon as that happened, the next morning I got a text from about 15 teams saying, "Hey man, like we can't do it." So I had a very bad feeling that I was gonna have to go to college, which is not a bad thing. By no means is going to college a bad thing, but it's just I didn't want to. I really wanted to, play baseball for a living. I didn't really want to go to school. But yeah, so luckily the Cubs picked me up, and I was able to start my dream. But I would say definitely my junior year in high school is when everything kind of started getting real for me.
Hey, awesome stuff, man. And you just kind of mentioned how UCLA was your dream school, and then you still decided to forego your commitment there. So go a little more in depth on that. Talk to us about that, like you said, it was your dream school, but at the end of the day, you kind of decided just to go into professional baseball. So was that a tough decision, or did you kind of know, like you said, like you were just gonna forego college and start playing baseball professionally?
It was very tough. The reason UCLA had such a deep meaning for me was my parents worked a very, very long shifts when I was growing up. My dad worked. He was waking up at like 3:30, 4 a.m. and coming back at 6 o'clock at night to pick me up from, daycare, because my mom was dropping me off at school, and then I'd see her the next morning for, the same thing. I didn't see her at night. She'd come home at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So I really didn't my parents worked a lot. They definitely sacrificed everything for me, my brother, and my sister. And the reason UCLA was such a big thing for me was, every Friday, every Saturday, my dad didn't work the weekend. So he's like, dude, let's go catch a game. So he would literally get off work early on Friday around 4:30, 4 if he could. And he would hustle. This man would come in the house, yell, "Hey, let's go." And then I would see him running from the garage, chuck his, literally just full chuck his stuff and like sprint to his closet, get changed. And I kid you not, in like 5 minutes, this dude was strapped, ready to go, and yelling at me from the garage, telling me to hurry up. And literally every week we'd go to a game, and that was like mine and my dad's like special time away from, his real world and, my kid world at, that time where nothing really mattered that much. But it was definitely a very, one of those memories that I still have and I still love. So, although I did forego my scholarship, it was a hard decision, but at the end of the day, I'm in this life to make a career and play baseball for as long as I can. And the Cubs offered me, the right number, the right pick, the right team, the right feel, and so on and so forth, that when I heard my name and I heard how much, and, looking at my parents and them going, "Oh my God, like this is real. Let's go." And, the Cubs called me. The final offer was, I think, the 72nd pick is when I got the call. And they're like, "Hey man," it was actually my agent. He's like, "Hey man, they're going to offer you what you want." He's like, "So what do you think?" He's like, "You have about 48 seconds to decide." And I was like, "All right, I'm in." So, they offered me what I wanted, and, I love the Cubs. My brother's family is in Chicago. So his side of the family is a massive Cubs family. So, it was a no-doubter for me. As soon as I heard my name, I saw myself in a Cubs uniform, and I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm absolutely all for it. Let's do it.
Hey, that's awesome, man. It's really cool to hear about your family. I know, all of your guys' families make so many sacrifices for you to be where you are.
Absolutely.
So cool to hear the stories behind it too. And you mentioned the shoulder injury too during your senior year. So talk to us about that time of adversity and how tough it is, because having an injury can really, it's just like being on an island, because you want to contribute and you want to go compete, but you just can't, and there's not much you can do. So talk to us about that time.
That was easily one of the biggest challenges in my life. Like I said, I was having a really good year. I think I had 8 home runs in 9 games, something crazy. I was really showcasing myself. I was really feeling myself, so I was really getting into it. I was like, okay, I got a little swagger, got a little juice. But no, man, we were messed. I remember this clear as day. We were at the softball field because we had a bunch of friends in high school that played on the softball team, so we were going to support and absolutely rag them while they're in center field, left field. We were all over it. We were talking smack. They're talking it back, and these are our friends for years. So at our games, they sit in center field and they are chirping me every inning. I could, I'm picking seeds out of my pocket. They're chirping me. So we had that kind of relationship when we were all hanging out. And I remember one of my teammates pantsed another kid in center field. So he threw me the shorts, and I ended up throwing them, catch them and lob them like an 18-year-old, just messing around, having a good time, just horse playing. And I tossed them, and as I was tossing them, this kid went to go grab me to go stop me from tossing him, obviously, because he just got pantsed in the outfield. Everyone sees him. And I had a bad hamstring at that point. I had just rehabbed. I was ready to come back. I was playing in Wednesday's game. This was on a Tuesday. He picked me up and was trying to pick me up and grab me. Well, this kid, just couldn't hold me with how fast he was going and how heavy I was. So I ended up only getting one leg off the ground. My bad hamstring was the one that was trying to, keep me up, and it just didn't have the full strength. So I picked up, I pressed the ground, and I remember slipping, and I just came down I was like this, and he just came down and hammered it. And as soon as I hit the ground, I just felt my arm go, And I didn't like it was so surreal too. Like I was like, and I was like, oh my God, get off me. I was like, get off me right now. He's like, why? I was like, I just separated my shoulder. And at that point, I'm freaking out because one, my shot at going pro just went down the drain. Two, what if I can never play again because of this crazy injury? And three, my mom is going to kill me. So I called my mom, super calm, because I have so much adrenaline. Like I just don't realize the pain or anything. Call my mom, like, hey mom, bad news. I was super calm too. It was creepy calm. She was pissed. I was like, hey mom, bad news. I just separated my shoulder. So obviously she thought I was joking. And and obviously I was in so much pain and shock that it didn't really register yet. And then I go, hey mom, I'm about to throw up because I'm in so much pain. Can you meet me at the hospital? I'm about to go to the hospital. And she's pissed because like she just hates when I do stuff like this because I used to be a really rambunctious kid as a very small child. So I was like, hey mom, yeah, just separated shoulder. Can you meet me at the hospital? And 2 minutes later, I have our staff on our high school, our trainers, God, I couldn't think of the word, our trainers, and he was, feeling it around and kind of doing some stuff he shouldn't have done. And I remember this so vividly because I ended up passing out because I had a grade 3 AC joint separation. So it wasn't a dislocated shoulder, but he's trying to pop it back like it's a dislocated shoulder. So now the adrenaline's starting to go away, and now I'm really starting to feel the pain. So I remember he had it over my head and he was yanking it up, and immediately I stood there and looked at him. I was like, hey man, I'm going to pass out. I was like, I feel awful. And I remember that was the last thing I remember. And I remember waking up, looking up at everyone, just shell shocked and confused. It was tough. But yeah, my mama pulled up to the hospital and she literally looked at me like I was the biggest idiot in the world. I had a very, very strong talking to after that one. Oh my God. I was on the ride home and when your mom's mad at you, so you're kind of look away and look out the window. Oh, dude, it did not stop her. She was just talking to me and, rightfully so. I deserved every word, but it definitely didn't feel good with the shoulder injury and my mom being super disappointed in me.
Wow, that's a crazy story. I mean, I guess what we'd expect to hear is, I threw my arm out, throwing a ball, or I was going for a catch and I hit the outfield fence. But yours is definitely a little bit more unique.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you this. So, of course, as you know, baseball is a mental game. So talk to us about the importance of mental preparation before each practice and each game. Are there things that you do specifically to prepare yourself mentally?
Absolutely. So what was really helpful, coming up the ranks in our organization is, you have better tech. You get to see the pitcher, see what he's throwing, see his tendencies, the percentages, everything before the game. And I'm one of those players. I really do not like to get locked in, not talking to anyone. I play my best when I'm having fun. So, I'll mess around, I'll dance and sing and, do all this stuff and really try to keep everyone's spirits up as well as my own. Because I really just don't think, baseball should be as serious as it is. It's a kid's game. We're supposed to have fun, and everyone knows you play better when you're relaxed and having a good time. That's just the fact of life. However, I do an extreme amount of visualization. That helps me the most out of any kind of techniques I've ever learned. I usually watch the pitcher. I'll go back and, sit down on my chair and I'll put my headphones in and I'll close my eyes for a good 10 minutes and I'll visualize the slot, the spin, the location, the speed. I will every scenario that could happen while I go and hit. If I'm really doing well and I'm really locked in and focusing, that's when I'm going to have my best day is when I'm truly locked in. I'm visualizing beforehand. My greatest days at the plate were the days that I was having the most fun and, I went out there with a smile on my face and, a plan in my head and, I had already envisioned every variable. So there's nothing that pitcher could throw at me that I hadn't already seen for myself in my own head. Other than that, I don't like to do puzzles or anything. I just feel like my eyes get tired and, I don't really want to work my brain that much, but I do like to, stay loose, take a shower, put some headphones in. I'm a big music person. Music is, the one way to my heart for sure. Yeah. I listen to music all day long. actually what I've been doing for the past 2 hours because I have no roommates here. Just been playing music. I'm a big music person. I think music definitely, affects the way you see things and, the way you feel. So, if I'm really feeling that day, like I'm really feeling good, I will play some, some bangers, really get myself amped up. But sometimes, I'll take it slow. I'll take it real slow and really, it just depends on the day. It really does. But, music and visualization are definitely my two biggest keys before going into a game. And just staying happy, man. Just having a good, like I have a very big, theory that when you go out there, you go tense, you go nervous, you make mistakes. And I was actually listening to Jason Hayward's podcast when he talked about, going up there and, all right, man, just take a deep breath. Don't do too much. Just short, easy. Just tap the ball. Just tap it. And, he ended up, that was his first game as his first home run as a 20-year-old against the Cubbies. And he hit a ball farther than he ever has in his whole career. So, I definitely think just taking it smooth and, visualization is the best thing for me.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the importance of visualization. I mean, as a Phillies fan, I can vividly remember hearing Ryan Howard in an interview, and he talked about the same thing. So, hey, if you have that level of success, then, visualization is probably helping.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but so you do a little bit of everything. So tell us about your style of play, both in the field and at the plate. And do you prefer any spot in the outfield, or do you kind of just play all three? You don't really have a preference?
I definitely have a preference. Center field is definitely my preference. I'm okay with playing it more. Left field's a little bit left field's definitely my weakest point. It's something that I've really been working on in the off season and really just trying to, grind to get better and to be more diverse in the outfield and be, a multi-tooled player. The way I play the outfield though is I'm playing it quick and I'm going to sacrifice everything I can to make sure that ball doesn't drop. In last season, you'll see me diving into the warning track and, blowing out my chest on the dirt, going hard for balls that who knows if I'll even get, and who knows that if, the balls that are in no man's land, you're going to see me diving and trying to make a play. If I scorpion in the outfield or, I slip going out there, whatever, I'm going to bust my butt for it, whatever I can. And that's just the way I play. I play it very quickly, and I'm very communicative in the outfield. I run a very tight ship in the outfield, and you can ask my fellow outfielders that do that, talking every pitch. I'm doing my homework on the pitch, on the hitters beforehand, looking at their tendencies, looking at what they do with the ball. And me and my hitting coach last year were really big on that because he was an outfielder in the league. And just conversating and really trying to elevate myself to understand, on certain pitches, what is this guy's tendency, where does he usually put it, and what happens when he doesn't do that. So really learning that and really, making my notes, making my list. And I think that's really what helped me be an outfielder this past year and really helped me dominate that, that entire league defensively. I really did my homework and I really busted my butt. On the flip side, on the hitting side, I love to do damage. I don't like to be a ground ball guy. I don't like to be, like the little flare guy. I want to do damage. I want to put it against the wall and I want to put it in the gaps, and I want to run as long as I can. I love getting doubles and I love looking at my team and I love hyping them up. So when I'm out there, I'm ready to play quick, play smooth, but play very efficiently.
Yeah, for sure. And something about the Cubs organization that I've heard a lot is just they like guys like you, just grinders who are going to work hard and give everything they've got on and off the field. So
absolutely,
it's definitely something I admire about the organization there. And you talked about Jason Hayward a little bit, but you've been compared to Andrew Benintendi, which is a huge compliment. So talk to us about some of the guys that in the outfield who you kind of take notes off of and really admire.
Some big dudes. Obviously, I mean, I love Mike Trout, but he's above and beyond, our time. That guy's just he's beautiful to watch. I'm a big, I love Josh Hamilton. I love Vladdy Guerrero. Those were probably two of my biggest inspirations growing up as a kid. I loved the way Josh Hamilton swung. He was a big lefty. I wasn't as big as him growing up, but I loved it. He was one of those guys who was just balls to the wall at all points. And Vladdy Guerrero is he's amazing. He's a guy that you look at and you're like, I want to be him. I remember growing up taking BP. I remember Gro used to do this every time before he'd always point his bat and, tug on his shirt. And I thought it was the coolest thing. I'm 7, 8, 9 years old, doing that in BP, probably whiffing. But I still had the confidence like him. So those were two big guys growing up that I really took after and I really wanted to learn. And obviously those guys are some of the greatest players. However, Josh Hamilton didn't have the success he should have had. When you look at the brass tacks, he could play. He was a true grinder, and he really showed what he could do. And Vladimir Guerrero, I mean, that dude's just God sent. Like he's just above and beyond what any player dreams of being and wants to be. And he's a god in human form, honestly.
Yeah, I remember seeing Vladdy hit a pitch in the dirt, and he got a single off it. Like just crazy stuff like that. But great names to admire. And I mean, going back to the draft a little bit, you graduate, and then before you know it, I mean, you're out there in a Cubs uniform in rookie league out in Arizona playing. So how surreal was that moment when you put on the uniform and went out for the first time?
It was crazy. It wasn't what I expected. I'm going to be honest with you. I was 18 years old coming into a league of grown men, and the rookie ball season, you have guys that are 27, 28, guys who are just, it's there, you know what I mean? Like they might not get out of there, but they're still there. You see guys with families and kids, and it really was not. God, this flies in my house. I have no idea. Just absolutely just going by my ears, freaking me out. Seeing those guys, and I'm gonna be honest, I had more fans at a high school game than I did in rookie ball. So that's also the flip. Like they told me, like, yeah, no fans. It's hot. It's a grind, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I played for Ozell at heart, and I know all about the grind. It was tough. It was a lot tougher than I expected. There is no fans at all, and it is. I think that's the most brutal thing about baseball is we're in the entertainment business, and you're playing 110 plus degrees with no motivation, with no fans, and no music or anything. So that was definitely tough, but it was crazy for me to and surreal to walk in that locker room and see all these dudes and, look myself in the mirror and have that C on my chest and that C on my hat and be like, this is my life now. Like this is, I worked my whole life for this and here we are and let's give it a go. I remember that first game. I don't think I stopped smiling until, I don't think I'd ever been so nervous going up to the plate. I don't think I did. So my first game in pro ball, I remember this. It was a hot day. It was about 115. It was tough for the first game out. It was tough. I'd been waiting for about 2.5 weeks to get cleared because we had another high school guy that hurt his hamstring before, so they were really tedious with me, just trying to take it slow. And I remember my first game going out there. I think I struck out on 3 pitches my first at bat. I was more nerves than anything. I don't think I swung, to be honest. My second AB, I was a little bit more ready to go. The guy was throwing like 97, though. It's a big Latin dude. That I remember my second at bat, first pitch buzzed over my head at 98. I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I thought I pooped myself at the same time. And then the next pitch was the same pitch, but better in the zone. I remember I swung so unbelievably late that I hit like right above my hands, and the ball just like, God, dude, this fly. This ball just fluttered right over the pitcher and just like bounced over second base to give me a little crappy single. But I was like, that was my first one. I remember the coaches coming over and go, wow, that was your first hit in pro ball. That's congrats. I was sitting there like, yeah, that was a second rounder. That's exactly what we want to see is a really bad broken bat single. But, I remember every second of that day. And those are some of the memories that, as bad as they are and as horrible as they are. I remember I missed a ball in the outfield that day too. Oh, what a day. What a debut for the kid. I missed the ball in center and I cracked the bat and I K'd on 3 pitches for my first debut. It was definitely one of those days where I remember calling my mom and being like, that was tough, but I had such a great time. And it's one of those things where pro ball is supposed to be fun, and I definitely I'll never forget that first game in pro ball.
Awesome.
So looking at the 2019 season, you really stepped up your play towards the end, and especially in August. So what were some of the biggest things that, you learned during that season in South Bend last year?
I really learned to keep it simple. We were doing a lot of things last season. We ended up, changing my stance and my swing, about 3, 4, 5 times. So that was really tough for me, being the dude that in spring training I had, I did well. I did very well in spring training. I actually, surprised myself with the way I played in spring training. And to kind of come into season and change everything like that, it was tough. I was a 19-year-old kid. I'm obviously going to be stubborn because, I'm failing left and right when I had so much success. So just the non-trust factor between obviously me and the coaches, like I don't know if this is working. Like I've never done it this way. It's not working. I'm here in pro ball. So constantly, that battle between trying to do something new and then constantly failing. And then obviously you have the media and, other things that are in your head and feeling, oh my God, like I know this works, so I'm going to revert back to this, when the fact of the matter is if I would have just trusted it and made it my own instead of reverting back to my original, I would have had way more success. I think that's what happened in the second half. I remember the first game of the second half, we played the Timber Rattlers, and I remember Paul McAnulty, who was our hitting coach, walks up to me, right before we went in the cage, and goes, "Hey, man, like, I want to talk to you for a second." And at that point, I was like, oh, no. I was worried. I'm not going to lie to you, because I was like, second half is my half. And, all he said to me was, "Hey, man, like, just take, like, half the step. Just, like, literally, like, just do everything you do, but, like, half." Because I had a big leg kick. I was, more standing up straight. He's like, because at that point, right before, we had really stretched me out, and I just couldn't hit like that. So he was like, "Yeah, man, like, cut that in half. Go where it's comfortable, and just take one little short step and see the ball and hit it." And I remember saying, like, "Oh, yeah, like, that's going to work." In my head, like, I'm definitely going to be able to have the juice and the pop, with just one little baby step. I will say that man knew what he was talking about. I ended up hitting 2 bombs in that game, one to right and one to left center. And I remember on both home runs, I came back in and he just had his arms crossed and he's shaking his head. And I was like, I looked at him, I started laughing. As I'm walking by, he goes, "Told you." And I go, "Yeah, I know. And he still talks about it to this day, like when I'm really struggling or having like one of those mental problems where I just can't get past this little issue. He always reverts back to that, and he was right. Just keeping it as smooth and as simple. And I think that's what really helped me in the second half, was just realizing that and being like, okay, I deserve to be here. I've earned my place. It's time to show people what I can do. And I think the second half, especially at the tail end and the championship run, and the playoffs and all that stuff, I think I really came to life. I think I'm really hot, and I think this upcoming year would have been a huge year for me. I gained like 30 pounds, and I was really ready. So, we'll have to see about the next season. But I really do think that those changes I made at the end of the season are really going to help me this upcoming one.
Yeah, absolutely. So who's the toughest pitcher you faced so far, and why was hitting against them so difficult?
Okay, I forget his first name, but his last name is McClanahan. He's with the Rays. This dude pumped about 100, and he quick pitched for sure. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was a lefty. So I believe it was lefty on lefty, and this dude's pumping. And I remember the first pitch, like, tailing right into my hands, and me going, "This is gonna be a tough one." I stepped out, fixed my gloves, and I was like, okay. I was like, just as short and as quick as possible. And I remember I ended up flicking, like, awful. I remember, like, I ended up flicking one right out of the first base, hooking the heck out of it and getting, like, an easy double and being like, I really got lucky on that one, but that was terrifying. And then our own talent, the dirtiest pitcher I've ever faced from our own guys is Braylon Marquez. You guys probably know who that is. He throws absolute cheddar biscuits, and before that he didn't really know it was going, so it was even worse. But I faced him again when he actually got his stuff locked in and he had the off speed working and everything. And seeing 103 with a little bit of tail on your hands from a big dude that's about 6'7" that cuts the length in half is a little terrifying. I did no step, no stride. I choked up, had my hands like right here, and I was just, just one of these. And he threw me a fastball, ended up hitting it, and I barely touched it, and the ball launched. And then After that, he just started painting corners, off speed, everything, and he was tough. He's got a great off speed, and he's got the live fastball to back it up. So he might slow you down with like an 80-mile-an-hour changeup, and then blow your hands up with 104. So that's one of those things where it's terrifying, and I have to give credit where credit's due. That dude is nasty.
Yeah, I know that dude's coming up soon, just like you. So,
yeah, I think if we would have had a season this year, I think he would have been a September call-up. I really do, because he was. I remember one day, like out of nowhere, he just clicked it on, and he was like a whole different person. The day before, he had like 4 Ks and kind of a tough outing. And I remember him coming into the gym the day before his next start and talking to our strength coach, being like, "Hey man," he's like in Spanish. He's like, I want to change. I want to be better. And I think that was the biggest moment for him. I remember him wearing like 3 jackets and a weight vest going to run and really focusing on losing his weight and really focusing on his craft finally. And I think after, getting his teeth kicked in, long enough and having the ability to be an all-star, I think it really showed him. So I kid you not, that next outing, I think he had the highest Ks he had. I think he had 15. And the game was about an hour and 45 minutes. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever been so happy for an hour and 45-minute game in my life, because beforehand, he was like 3.5 hours. He had a tough pace, it was very slow and it was just hard. We got very stagnant in the outfield to this dude working quick. He's throwing strikes. He's throwing fuel. Like the first pitch of the game was 102. I don't think he went under 101 until the 5th inning. I think he touched 100 at the 5th inning.
Wow.
So this dude's pumping cheddar biscuits for 5 innings, just up these dudes' butts. And I'm just sitting there in the outfield. I remember I had Brennan Davis in right and DJ Artisan left. And I'm like, the game's going. And I'm like, just sitting there. It's like, I look up. It's like the 4th inning. And I look over to DJ. And I'm like, hey, DJ, it's the 4th? And he's like, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I look over at Brennan and I'm like, hey, it's the 4th. He goes, I guess so, because we're only like 45 an hour into it. So the game was just flying like that. And I remember after the game, him walking up to us and being like, yo, thank you to like all the outfielders for helping him out and like high-fiving all of us and giving us a hug. And after that day, Braylon Marquez was Braylon Marquez. He came to life that day. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he ate that day, but I hope he eats that for the rest of his life, because that dude was shoving.
Wow, that's absolutely nuts. Sounds like that dude's going to be pretty special for years to come. But
absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit more about your game. What do you feel right now are your biggest strengths, and then what are the biggest things you're working to improve on for next year?
I think right now my biggest strengths is I'm really starting to come along as a hitter. Last year, if you look at my spray pattern, yeah, I'd flick the ball over to left a few times, but my majority was center to right. That's something I've really been hammering in. It's been, like, my best hits so far in live ABs and games and scrimmages like that are the left side. I hit a ball out to left. I hit a ball off the wall to like left center. So I think right now I've been working my absolute butt off to really be more diverse as a hitter, to be able to go to the left side when I need to. If a guy's throwing 98, 99, to be able to hit it that way with power and not flare it off, or the changeup that was about 88% of my strikeouts last year, seeing that changeup, recognizing that changeup, either putting it in play or hitting it. In which last year, if you saw the way I swung at changeups, you would have thought that I had a blindfold on. It didn't matter where it was, I was swinging at it, and I couldn't see it at all. Changeups are, they're tough. So I had one of my buddies who plays college ball right now. It was a nasty changeup. He was really trying to like dial it in, and I sat there in the box while he threw 40, 50 changeups, and it helped. It really did. And I'm gonna be honest, the first 20 didn't touch him. If I did, they were like going straight to the ground or awful. But at the end, I was starting to see it, and going to my live ABs out in Arizona, it definitely showed. The thing I'm most proud of, and the thing that I've been grinding on so heavy, I didn't wait. My muscle mass and how I was built as a player wasn't fit to sustain 150 games, 140 games. It just wasn't built for that. I came in the season last year at like 180 pounds, 6 foot, 180 pounds. Yeah, that's cool. Like if you're going to stay that way, but it's 140 games, you're going to lose weight. So I remember I was down to like 170 pounds really skinny, weak, didn't have the pop, didn't have the speed. So that was tough for me. That was a big, kick in the teeth was, I've always been strong. I've always been quick. I've always been able to sustain at all costs. And to see myself break down so bad where I came home and like, I looked at pictures I had and I was like, I looked so bad. So this season, I finished last season at about 173 pounds. I came to spring training this year at 206.
Wow.
Yeah. So I honestly think I finally hit puberty for real this time. And I finally was able to gain the weight that I was able to do. I'd never really worked out before until this past not this off season, but the one before when I got into pro ball. I'd never really been in a gym that much. And this past off season was actually the first time I've ever lifted for real, like 4 times, 5 times a week. And I came to spring training very, very strong. 206. I was barely touching balls and being able to get them to places I could, but that's just not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not a 206 dude. I'm not a 204. I'm like a 195 kind of player. And I'm not a hoss. I'm only 6 foot. So 195 is definitely like the perfect weight for me. And right now I'm sitting at 195, 196. I feel quicker than ever. I feel stronger than ever. And I just feel healthy. I had problems last year with my hips being tight, and my hamstrings being tight, and my back hurting, and these problems that obviously I just didn't have because I wasn't flexible, and I really just didn't nurture that at all. So this past offseason, I really worked really, really hard on my mobility and my flexibility, and I'm able to do things now that I didn't think so. I still can't touch my toes. I'm really trying. It's a big goal. I'm trying to get it before we start season. I just want to touch one toe. I don't care if it's all of them. I just want to touch one. I'm close right now. I've made some serious gains. I could touch the top of my shoes. My dad's pretty bad though. My dad can't barely touch his shins. So that's where I get it from. But yeah, so I'm getting close. It's one of my big goals before season is to be able to touch my toes. And hey, if we're lucky, maybe even wrap a finger just around one toe. That'd be sick. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing this off season. I've been working real hard this off season. Honestly, I've worked harder than in this off season than I have, I think, my whole career in baseball combined, honestly.
You just talked to us a lot about your weight gain and just your body image and all that, which is awesome. Really glad to hear how much you grinded for that. And again, just shows like the types of guys the Cubs draft like you, which I just really admire. I just want to emphasize that again. Props to you, man. And this has been a tough off season with all the uncertainty, and the minor league season obviously got canceled. So just talk to us about your mindset during this time and just continuing to work and how special next season is going to be now that you've gotten a season taken away.
I really think it's going to be beneficial for me this upcoming season. My mindset in all this is there's going to be a season. At some point, we will play again. And now that, I missed a year, to show everyone I got what I had, now I have more time. And my mentality is now I have more time to come back an even better player. I came into spring training. Fortunate enough in spring training, I had enough ABs and had enough live ABs and, enough time in the field to gauge some things. I was very fortunate in that regard to go to Vegas and do all these things to really see what works, what doesn't, and what I need to change. And I had just enough where I was able to test some things out, get my teeth kinked a little bit, have some success, and now just knowing what I need to work on, what I can work on, and now I don't know what's in the future. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know regardless, we will play at some point, and I'm going to be ready.
Awesome stuff, man.
Yeah. So, favorite play or memory from your career so far?
Oh, okay, that's an easy one, no brainer. So, we were in. I forget the. Oh, we were playing the Whitecaps. Okay, so we drove up there, and we actually, I believe it was the 4th of July, or maybe not. That's not important. We had Pitbull playing at our home stadium that day. Okay, so we were in the Whitecaps facility. I forget where they were, but they were some serious. It was like 5 hours north, 4 hours north. So we had Pitbull that day, and obviously we want to go to Pitbull, but the way they set it up is they set it up so we can't go because they have to use our facility because they want us out of there. So we're on the locker room like, hey man, like if we smack, because we thought we could beat them. We're like, we smack them quick, we could still make it. We could make Pitbull, and we can still have a good time and still party. Have to see a concert. And I remember it was like the 8th inning, the 7th inning, something like that. And, we were up by like 1 or 2 runs. And we had just walked a guy. I believe it was first and second. And it was like 1 out. And we had just walked a guy, and a guy scorches one in left center. Okay, so I'm already amped because we're really coming in early on time. We're gonna see Pitbull. We're all jazzed up about it. And I remember I made this nasty catch in left field, like one of the net, I threw my glove on the ground and I caught it with it hit my thumb and I caught it.
Wow.
Or no, on my pinky. I was totally opposite-handed. On my pinky. I caught it with my pinky. Just thought I was right-handed for a second. I just caught it with my pinky, and I remember getting up, and I forget who my left fielder was like, yeah, Pitbull! And I was like, oh, no! All hyped up, let's go to Pitbull! Yeah, let's go! I was just all juiced up. I was like, yeah, we're going to get to go to Pitbull. I made that play. It saved the run. We're not going to have to go to extras or anything. We're still up, We're going to make Pitbull for sure. And, I remember that because I remember on the video, I was jazzed, dude. I was so excited. I was screaming, let's go to Pitbull. And I remember my shortstop is busting up laughing. My left fielder's busting up laughing. I'm like in tears now because I'm laughing so hard. And I'm going to be honest. We won that game and it went downhill from there. we were on the bus and we were having a good time. And we ended up having a player break his nose, because he was getting up and go to the bathroom, and something ran in front of the bus driver. It's obviously a bus, you can't stop that fast, and he ended up getting hurt. So that happened, and then we get to the concert, and everything's good. We all set. We're out front, and the Yin Yang twins were outside, right? Or the yin and yang, something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So they're outside, and there's only one of them. So I'm like, he walks up to us because he sees our jerseys and our bags. He goes, "What's up, guys? I'm playing tonight. I forget if he said I'm yin and yang." And he's like, "Yeah, my brother got shot. He won't be here."
Oh my gosh.
And he said it so calm, so normal. And I looked at my teammates. I was like, so it's just you? Your brother's not coming for sure? He's like, yeah, he got shot. He's in the hospital right now back home. And he's like, yeah, man, but it's all right. We're going to have a good time. He played one song. And after that, we got a call saying Pitbull flaked and was not coming.
Oh.
So after really, really busting our butts to win that game, get back, we had a player that broke his nose on the bus, and still no Pitbull. So he didn't even show up. They literally, this 7 o'clock, they canceled the concert 7:45.
Oh.
So we're all sitting there you've got to be kidding me right now. We're we're hyped. We're oh my God, Pitbull's coming. This is going to be so insane, And then we get our president comes over. He goes, hey man, just go home. Pitbull's not coming. He just called us and said, he can't make it over here. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think the team morale has ever been so low. Most of us lived in one house. We had a big house, and there's a bunch of us in there. And I remember all of us just sat on the couches and didn't say a word. And then out of nowhere, Peyton Remy stands up and goes, "Dude, this sucks." And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, I broke my nose. I was excited, and now I'm not even gonna be able to play. We're not even gonna be able to watch Pitbull or anything. We just busted our butts for this game. We're all just super sad. And but yeah, that was definitely my most memorable memory, or my most charitable memory from last season. Defensive wise, because it was so funny. Everything was riding on how quick and how well we played, and it was not even worth it.
So obviously, just having fun with your teammates and your dynamic with them, and just the team atmosphere has been a big part of your career, and it's a big part of your team right now. So how important has locker room chemistry been throughout your career? What part has it played in your career?
It's, in my opinion, it's essential. It is very, very essential. Rookie ball year, we had zero chemistry in the locker room. You know, it's obviously we're very divided. Americans, you know, our Latin players, you know, we're very divided. Obviously, there's a language barrier there. Obviously, we had like guys that could speak English and, you know, that were bilingual that could, you know, bridge the barrier between us. But it was tough. You know, we really didn't connect on any very, very many levels. And, you know, that was very tough. You know, it definitely showed in the field. We didn't communicate, and we weren't talking. We weren't a team. We were just all together playing like an inter-squad game that were just randomly picked like a backyard sandlot game. And then South Bend came. Obviously, that language barrier, and obviously that was there at the beginning, and it showed. You know, we really didn't communicate as a team. You know, obviously we had our American guys and some of our Latin guys together. We had a bunch of our Latin guys and some of the American guys. You know, it was very cliquey. After about the first month of having to deal with having to see these guys' faces every day and talk to them, and it really became one of those things where, yeah, you know, we had problems sometimes with the music being played. I love Spanish music. I love it to death. Like, I think it's great. You know, I'm always amped. Some of the songs are harder to listen to. You know, it's like one word constantly the whole time, which, I mean, happens with all types of music. It's not just Spanish music. But, you know, they had this one song that said spicy picante the whole time, and they loved it. You know, a couple of my teammates loved it. You know, I remember Christopher Morel would absolutely get after it every time that song came on. He would, regardless of where he was in the clubhouse, he would sprint out to the locker, like wherever, like we would sit and get after it. And obviously that's just, you know, it's one of those songs where like, yeah, it's funny, you know, like for like what happens during it, but like the song is just tough, you know, like it's hard to listen to. But I think locker room chemistry is huge. You know, you talk to guys, you know, like after you have a bad game, you know, a lot of the guys wouldn't talk, and the guys that would, you know, the guys that were able and willing to open up and be honest with each other and let themselves like be open to like have a connection with a brother, you know, like have like an extended family member like join you and kind of, you know, be there for you in your sorrows and your hard times. I think it was very, you know, it was influential for us. You know, that's why we had such a good year. You know, we were a family. We might not have always spoken the same language. We might not have always got along, but at the end of the day, like, I know that I could text any guy on that team and be like, what's up, my brother? Or what's up, brother? Like, what you doing? And they would respond. Actually, it happened today. I texted Jonathan Sierra, and he responded like that. Like, hey, brother, what are you doing? Like, it was that connection that really helped us, you know, during the whole year, you know, because you like think of it like if you have a family that's very, you know, broken apart, you know, it's hard to get things done. You know, instead, if you're a well-oiled machine, you guys are in sync, you guys are talking, discussing, you know, working things out, you guys are going to get stuff done a lot easier. And, you know, it showed for us, especially in the championship run. We were one heart, one team, you know, one breath, one idea. We had one brain. Like, we were dumb, but we had one brain, and that's all that mattered. I think locker room chemistry is one of the most, you know, essential things in a good, well-oiled team.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, like, I played baseball just in high school, and that's such an important aspect of it too. So it's cool to hear it at the professional level as well. And it really is just a brotherhood at the end of the day that really, those teams just, that's my favorite type of team. I think that's the one that gets the job most efficiently. It's not just, you know, spending money on talent, getting, you know, trading for talent and all that, which is definitely, you can bring guys in the locker room who are great, but I think that's such an important aspect to get that team chemistry. So it's great to hear that.
Absolutely.
And, we've talked about the Cubs organization a little bit, but how much of a great opportunity it is to have the chance to possibly play at Wrigley Field someday.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've been there one time. It was actually when I was hurt. I was going for a pre-draft thing. It was one of the coolest moments in my life. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what it is, and I have a feeling a lot of people can attest to this. If you've ever been to Wrigley Field, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. I can't put my thumb on it, but like, it's just so special. I remember sitting up in the announcer's booth, looking over it. I don't know why. It was honestly like a cinematic movie type thing. It kind of had like a little fog rolling in from left field coming over, and the cold breeze just constantly on your face. And I just remember thinking like, this is the coolest place I've ever been in my life. Like it honestly felt like every past player was there with you. I don't know how to explain it. It was like supernatural though. Like walking in like the old parts of the facility and seeing the new parts and then going on the field and like just, I don't know. It was something out of a movie, but I would do anything to play there every day of my life. And, I'm very hopeful that someday I will. And, when that day comes, we're going to have to do another interviews to tell you how the first game went, because I guarantee you that I'll probably say the same thing I'm saying right now. But it was crazy. It was so cool. It's one of those moments I'll never forget. I remember I have a picture. I have a picture in the announcer's booth, and to this day, like I can still smell the same smells, and I can picture every little detail, like every blade of grass that was moving, and how gorgeous the field looked, and what all my surroundings were, and it's like imprinted on my brain now. And it's just I honestly would do anything to play there every day.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I've been there once as a fan, and just kind of the same thing you mentioned, like whenever, like I would always say like that's my favorite park I've been to. I've only been to like 10 so far. But I was like, people ask me like, why is it your favorite? I'm like, I don't know. I just can't explain it at all. There's just something about when you sit down in the seat there, or like even for you guys being in the dugout, or like just going around looking at the different parts of the stadium, like you can't explain it. It's just so special, so historic. And, we hope to see you catching a ball in the Ivy there someday too. It'd be pretty dope. But to all the diehard Cubs fans out there, I go to college in Chicago, so I have a few diehard Cubs fans who are my friends. Tell them what they're getting Cole Roederer from day one in the big leagues when you get there.
Well, to all the diehard Cubs fans, if you guys know where Bernie's is, right on the corner, that's my brother's family's place. It's kind of crazy that it actually worked out that way. As a baseball player and, as a regular person, you're going to get you're going to get 110% from me on and off the field. Off the field, I'm very personable. I absolutely love people. I love to talk, and I'm a very, social butterfly. So if anyone ever – this fly is really killing it. If you guys ever see me, please come up and talk to me. I absolutely love people. And as a baseball standpoint, I'm going to give it up, everything I have, every second of every game, and I'm going to sacrifice whatever I can to make sure we can win games. And I guarantee you, when I make the big leagues and when I'm on that roster, I guarantee you we'll be taking a World Series home for the people of Chicago. And I could put that in writing right now. With the team we have coming up, Brennan Davis, me, Braylon Marquez, Morel, Nelson Velasquez, Justin Steele, Tyson Miller, Corey Abbott, the list goes on and on and on. There's no doubt in my mind, one day those guys that came from that minor league team, are going to be there. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to bring a ring home for the people of Chicago.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us at the Take, we're excited for you to get that call up, and see what you're going to do. We're excited to follow your career. Before we wrap it up, we just want to ask you a few get-to-know-you questions. So what's your favorite sunflower seed flavor?
Ooh, okay. So this is a top two decision. And this, I'm going to be real with you, this is a game time decision. You can never go wrong with the classic David's barbecue, okay?
Oh.
But I'm not talking the regular bag. I'm talking the resealable one because of the fact that I like to put it in my pocket, and it's so annoying having barbecue seeds spill over your pants. It's annoying. It's the worst. Only thing that's good about it is your fingers smell like barbecue, which isn't a bad thing, but it's a little distracting. But, by far, it can never go wrong with David's barbecue. However, depending on how I'm feeling that day, if I'm feeling a little tangy and I need some barbecue, or if I'm feeling a little spicy and I need a little pick-me-up, a little amp-me, I'm probably going to the jalapeno hot salsa. I'm a big spice person, so, hey, those will get you right. You'll get a little runny nose if you get a big enough clob, and you're like, whoa, you're ready to go. You're all amped up, and I think those would be my top two. Extreme game time decision. I could have both in my hands because I love them so much, and I will make a game time decision maybe 2 seconds before it is absolutely necessary for me to get out there because I just can't decide. But those two are absolutely my top two.
Hey, good stuff, man. And Nate, you can get the next one too.
So how about your favorite thing to do on an off day?
Okay. Okay. All right. So if I can't, go do some with my friends at the beach, or if there's no beaches or water nearby, I'm a big video game person. I absolutely love video games. I always have been. I play on a PC. I have a full PC that I picked part from part and built with a couple of my friends. And hopefully I'll be able to stream soon. I just got to get this internet ready in this new house. But I'm a big internet person. So so downstairs in our old place in South Bend, we had a pretty decent sized living room, and I had my setup. This is when I was on PS4 too. I had my setup. I had a desk, just like a normal desk. I would fit my one screen on right here, and then my roommate, one of my roommates, would be on the other side of the desk with their setup. Behind him would be another guy to his back with his setup, and then we had like 3 people to my left, like with their setups. So, and I kid you not, there was some aggressive matches of the show, 2K. There's some lives be coming at during some show games, 2K games. I remember coming home one day, because I went to go eat groceries because my roommates are hella lazy. So I come home at DJ Artists and I think like Derek Casey or someone were playing the show. And just so you guys know, DJ Artists is absolutely disgusting at the show. He plays all day long. Like, it is disgusting how much he plays when he like doesn't have anything to do. So he's smacking the whole house, and I walk home and Derek's whooping him. And this does not happen. So Derek is all over him, and I'm there too. I'm chirping at DJ. I'm coming at his life. I'm coming at everything he loves, right behind him on the couch. And honestly, I think video games are one of the greatest things that honestly help to pass the time and to help build a bond. I think some of the funniest discussions and funniest like moments happen with your best friends playing video games, and I will stand by that. So on an off day, I'm a big video game person. I'll hook up some Call of Duty or some Fortnite or something like that, and my goal is to absolutely smack some little kids, and make them want to quit the game. To be real with you, I'm trying to beat everyone. Like I'll be there if I'm sweating, I'm into it. I have the air, I got the lights off. I'm in tune with my video game, trying to show some little kids who's the boss,
Yeah. COD 2K in the show, I mean, there's going to be some heated matchups in that. I mean,
you know the worst thing too is like when you're losing, you're all up close, but when you're winning, you're like laid back. And I kid you not, I've never realized how true that is until watching these dudes battle it out. Like when someone's winning, they're right here, but as soon as they lose, like they're real close, like controller right there, like trying to get after it. It is so funny.
That's a fact. And you already talked about this one a little bit with the outfielders, but just in general, who was like your favorite baseball player growing up?
Favorite one ever growing up? That's a tough one, honestly. I'm gonna be real. I didn't really watch so much baseball growing up. I really didn't get into it until I was probably a junior or sophomore in high school. But I obviously played 2K, 2K8, 2K9 and 10 with my brother. I probably still have to go with Vladdy, but not just because like he's a good outfielder or whatever. I changed that. I completely changed that. I totally take that back. David Ortiz, for one reason, because David Ortiz and the Red Sox. It was him and Manny Rodriguez, okay? And my brother, literally, so he'd always be the Yankees and I'd always be the Red Sox. And I kid you not, I used to hold the analog stick up so it'd just be bomb or nothing with Manny. Bomb every time, okay? David Ortiz come up, I'm talking all the mess I can as like a 10, 11-year-old to my brother. And I'm hitting absolute nuke 10 times out of 10 with Big Poppy. I'm saying right now, Big Poppy is the GOAT back then on like 2K8, 2K9. I think that would be Big Poppy would probably be my number one baseball player I've ever seen in person play, and digitally, obviously, like over TV. But I would say that's my number one.
Yeah, Poppy was mad clutch back in the day during some of those season runs. Absolutely.
Have you ever seen it's like a little it's like a 7-second like Vine or video? So it makes me laugh every time I see it. So it's a cold day in Boston, David Ortiz got like the jacket on, and the ball boy's sitting there on a knee, and David Ortiz walks up and like looks at him, and the ball boy like shakes back, and I don't know why, but that's like the funniest like little video I've ever seen. Every time I see it, it makes me bust up. Because the kid gets so scared, like falls back like against the wall and like drops the bat. I don't know why, but like it's so funny. And that's probably honestly like one of my like when I think of David Ortiz, I immediately think of that video.
Oh man, yeah, him and Manny could back it up too. Like they were definitely confident, but they could back it up on the field.
Especially in the All-Star game against Clemens, both of them come up and hit absolute nukes. Like, come on, like that against Clemens, like that does not happen. That does not happen.
Honestly, yeah, could talk all day about them. Pretty nasty, nasty combo back in the day. But last question before we wrap up, you talked to us about you were asking your friend for his Voodoo account before, or since you've run out of shows to watch. So what's been like the most entertaining show or movie that you've watched so far during quarantine?
I'm going to be honest, hands down, I've watched this, I'm going to be honest, an unhealthy amount. I think I've gone through it about 4 times. I really enjoy superheroes. Like I'm low-key like a little bit of a nerd when it comes to that. Not a problem, obviously. Big fan. I love The Flash on Netflix. It's a CW. It's 6 seasons. I'm a little upset that the way season 6 ended. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was hurt emotionally. I was hurt. And season 7, it got pushed back to 2021 because of coronavirus. Even more hurt when I read that. But that is, I love superheroes, and that series on Netflix was fantastic. It was so good. I love, they're not a huge budget, so it's a little corny, which is even funnier. But there's some seriously some good stuff in there. So if you've never watched it, you're a big fan of superheroes, I recommend it. I've watched it an unhealthy amount, and I mean that with all seriousness. I've easily watched all 6 seasons about 5 times because I get that bored.
Wow, man. Well, that's definitely gonna have to check some of those out more often. But dude, thank you so much for your time. Like we really appreciate you. We love talking to you. This was a great time, and we're really excited for the future. We can't wait to see you back on the field too. It's gonna be a special day when we have baseball normal again, because obviously the MLB season is going to be a little bit different this year. But yeah, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Nothing much, man. I'm just thank you guys so much for having me. This is honestly, you guys are 2 of the more fun interviews I've ever had. Interviews do get tough sometimes, and
yeah,
I'm really happy with the way this one went. It was a lot of fun. If you guys are ever out, where I'm playing, please hit me up and come see a game. I'd love to meet you guys in person. Other than that, nothing much, man. I'm all good. Thank you guys so much for having me, though. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you again so much, Cole. We'll see you, man.
Sure. See ya.